So how did we get to the Robert McNamara position of everything has to be organized top down, slow, and what is the purpose of that?
So if you went back all the way to the 1950s, when the Pentagon was moving very, very fast in terms of development of new systems,
Okay.
you can look at as one example, the Century series of aircraft. We produced, I don't know, 6 or 7 different aircraft models in a row in the 1950s, and we're iterating.
Yeah.
And you might say that's the precursor of today's agile methodology. We're going to produce, we're going to see how it works, and we're going to iterate again. That's really what Silicon Valley came around to probably in the 1990s or so. So that was happening, and the budgets were very decentralized. So not much coordination between Army, Air Force, Navy.
Okay.
And Robert McNamara, who was the CEO of Ford Motor Company before being tapped by President Kennedy, said, no, there's probably a better way. There's a systems engineering way. We can pull all this together so we have better control of budgets and in a more organized fashion, because we're competing with the Soviet Union, which is moving pretty slow with its 5-year plans for their economy. We could probably be much more efficient, and we could get better control over what's happening across the services, Army, Navy, Air Force, if we looked at this centrally. So he created something called the Planning, Programming, and Budgeting System, PPBS, that got introduced in the Pentagon. And his idea wasn't to make it slow, but because it's centralized and because the Pentagon's grown dramatically since 1961 when he instituted it, it has become quite slow. So you can think about this as it takes 3 years of time to program $1 of spending at DoD, and it's done in 5-year increments. It may be the only vestige of kind of a 5-year plan in the American economy that exists. And given how fast things are changing today, you don't have to think too hard to know that I'm not going to be able to plan better by spending more time. Most philosophy has migrated to the point where I need to be agile, I need to be adaptable, because I can't predict the future. The PPB and E, it's now planning, programming, budgeting, and execution. So it has that acronym. Is really rooted in the idea that if I plan better and I plan further out, I can achieve a better outcome. I'd argue that's completely wrong. You can't predict the future. You're going to be slower. You'd be much better off trying to figure out how to be agile. And in fact, the 2018 National Defense Strategy that Secretary Mattis brought out called out agility as one of the key characteristics of a successful military. But despite that being the strategy, I'd say we've not migrated very far. There recently was some work done by a congressional commission to improve PPB&E. I hope some of those recommendations are adopted. I've written about some of the ones I think are the most prominent. But the point is, something that probably was the right answer for the time in 1961 needs to be looked at in light of today's threats and how fast technology is moving. It doesn't suit us that well today.